looking back from when I started as a freshman in '09 to now, two completely different people. A lot of what I do is just process improvement, and Gulfstream is huge in that. It's neat to see stuff that I learned at Mercer directly correlate into my job. They actually want to make sure that you do learn, but also they sculpt you for the workplace. Because a lot of things we saw, it was first-hand experience from the professor, so they'd correlate that into lessons. So it's stuff that actually did apply beyond just a textbook, so that was really neat. And when I actually visited Mercer and did the campus tour, I was sold. There was no other place I'd wanted to be, and this was back in 2009. When you walk around, you see people, and they're friendly. You had people who just would come up and want to say hi. They'd want to get to know you. And the campus was just gorgeous. So now with Cruz Plaza and the football program, it's gotten even better. Who wouldn't want to go there? And then also the small classrooms is probably my favorite aspect. So it's definitely bittersweet. I've come to realize that in the past month or two, that you take it for granted that your best friends are a door next to you, 2 apartments away. It'd come Friday night, we'd have nothing to do, so we'd go somewhere. We'd come down to Savannah, or maybe go to the beach somewhere, go up to Atlanta, hang out. Definitely good times. I was part of a fraternity. I was Alpha Tau Omega, so a lot of most of my memories come from there.
I actually came into Mercer as a music major for pre-pharmacy. I took organic chemistry with Dr. Good my sophomore year, and second semester he convinced me to begin research with him. I started on a biochemistry project, and as the year progressed, I also did a summer internship, MUBS, which is Mercer's Undergraduate Biomedical Scholars Program. I began work on my current project, which is the development of antibiotics that had been previously isolated by other researchers. So I've been working on synthesizing that. I enjoyed the challenge, the many applications and where it led me, and ultimately it changed my mind from pharmacy to getting a biochemistry degree and pursuing my chemistry PhD, graduate school. I hope to either work in industry or in academia at a research institution. In industry, I'd like to get into big pharma, working on drug development, pharmaceuticals, as well as novel therapeutic development. Same in academia, I'd also like to work in doing organic synthesis, pharmaceuticals, that kind of atmosphere. When I was deciding on what undergraduate institution to attend, the biggest factor for me was going to a place or an institution where I knew that I wouldn't be a number or just another individual in the system, but where I would have a very nurturing environment where the professors were very interested in you and that they cared about your education, that they were there to help you strive for the very best. And that is something that I found at Mercer, and it was something that I wanted to be involved in. Winning the Goldwater Scholarship was a very exciting moment. I remember I was actually getting ready for work when I found the news, and it made my day. It opened up a lot of doors that may not have previously been opened, but more than anything, it solidified my decisions to pursue graduate school, and it just reinforced the idea that I knew that I was going down the right path. It's one of the biggest bittersweet moments for me is just going to be leaving the very collaborative environment that I've had here. It's been a very nurturing environment. The professors are very hands-on, and ultimately it is what they've done over the years that has shaped my career choice and has led me down the path that I plan to pursue. In doing research, the first moments where something I'm doing is working, and it just ignites everything afterwards, and it just drives that passion.
Mercer University is a community committed to your growth as a leader. As a former president, I see this commitment in the distinguished list of Mercer alumni: 12 governors, 4 United States senators, a U.S. Attorney General, and outstanding doctors, lawyers, educators, pharmacists, nurses, ministers, business people, professionals, and innovators. Graduates leave Mercer with perspective. They take the knowledge they learn in the classrooms and put it to work, making a difference in communities throughout the world. Through service and research, they are developing solutions to the many challenges facing people everywhere. True leaders understand the need to make a difference in the lives of others. Mercer students, alumni, faculty, and staff are passionate about service, whether in their local communities or on the other side of the world. Mercer University's tradition of educating thoughtful and compassionate leaders is making a positive impact, one student at a time.
Come September, I will actually be starting my Master's in Science and Finance program at the University of Warwick in Coventry, England, about an hour north of London. It's a short but dense 12-month program, and hopefully after that, with that degree, I will attain a job in investment banking at one of the bulge bracket investment banking firms. And I think Mercer's really prepared me quite well for the next few years, for the next few decades, for the rest of my life. The last 4 years have been phenomenal. I have been lucky to have been awarded so many great opportunities, given many opportunities. Work for the admissions office. I am president of the Mercer Ambassadors. I kind of lead, facilitate one of the Introduction to the Business courses, the Introductory to the Business School course. A lot of different things like that. I'm in one of the Greek organizations. So I've had a lot of different opportunities which have each had some type of influence on me. My favorite thing is the small class sizes. It has been, I went to a really small high school, so that was also one thing that attracted me to Mercer. I was looking at one of the larger school, but then it also came down to class sizes or the size of the school. And I decided that a smaller school meant a lot more to me. I knew that I would have been able to get that much closer to my professors. One of the things I've really enjoyed at Mercer is that there's always something going on as far as campus goes, as far as like the buildings and the reforming, reshaping of campus. From my freshman year all the way to now, there's been a ton of improvements from the athletic side of campus with the football and lacrosse stadium to Cruz Plaza in the middle of campus, which I think is what a middle of campus should actually look like, and I think thankful for the Cruzes for donating that money, to Mercer Village, to the new lofts that they're developing. When students look for a school, I think they look for many different things. They look for the academics. I think for people who come to Mercer, that's the main thing they look for are the academics. But then they also want those extracurricular activities. So the sports teams they want to root for, the Greek organizations that they have thought about joining, to other organizations, religious life organizations, really anything that you want Mercer has. And that's why I think we attract so many students, is because we're so diverse with all of our students, with all of our opportunities that Mercer has. So it's hard for me to choose from so many memories. Every day is another great memory. So I have, 365 times 4 great memories?
I will be attending graduate school at the University of Georgia, pursuing my Master's of Accountancy with a concentration in taxation. It's a one-year program, and I will be working there to become specialized in taxation, and really excited about that next year. Long-term goals, I really want to use my occupation to serve, so I hope to be working for a nonprofit in their accounting department. It's been really great because I've had opportunities in many of my courses to serve in the Macon community, including one now where I have tax service learning, where we prepare free tax returns for individuals at the senior center across from Tatnall Square Park. But I just think that there's such a greater purpose to my life than just making money and just, just everyday run-of-the-mill things. So I really want my life to have an impact on others, and I've been, greatly afforded the opportunity to do that here at Mercer, and I only can hope to continue that with my occupation. Mercer provides such a well-rounded academic experience. I've had opportunities to have classes in the College of Liberal Arts, which have really, opened me up to discussion and diverse backgrounds and opinions in the classroom. And I really appreciate the fact that professors encourage that in the classroom, so you're not, you leave every class period with something new that you can take away. And then also, I've had opportunities for research, which have, helped develop the professional side of myself, and also had the opportunity to study abroad. Knowing that I'll be an alumni of Mercer University, that means a lot. It's a really well-known place with a great alumni network, and that means something. To have Mercer written on my degree, I couldn't ask for any better than that. Knowing the academic rigor and challenge that stands behind that name, the service, just the quality that stands behind that name, it's a really special feeling to know that I will be a part of such a great legacy that has a great history in the state of Georgia.
Mercer's emphasis on both leadership and service merged together in the Mercer on Mission program. Whether fitting amputees with prosthetics in Vietnam, developing water purification systems in Uganda, or finding solutions to mercury poisoning in Mozambique, Mercer students combine research and service to address real-world challenges. Programs like this create an environment that promotes innovation along with a sense of responsibility to help those in need. This kind of servant leadership is needed in our world now more than ever. As a trustee of the university, I know that the Mercer on Mission program inspires and empowers students to continue to think of ways to put others before self.
My 4 years here have been the best 4 years of my life, and I'm really excited that God led me to Mercer and opened the doors that brought me here. It's been an awesome experience. I've learned so much about myself at Mercer. If I had to pick one thing, I would say that the main thing I've learned is how to persevere through challenges and how to be humble. I've been faced with many humbling experiences. I am on the volleyball team, and that has been a major part in shaping who I am. It's allowed me to develop determination and the ability to persevere through those types of challenges. And so I'd say perseverance is definitely the most important thing I've learned at Mercer. The Woodrow Wilson Teaching Fellowship is a stipend for you to go to one of their partner universities. In my case, I'll be attending the Ohio State University in Columbus. What it does is it funds your master's in education. And then after that year of master's, you commit to teaching in a high-need school in the surrounding areas. So I will be getting my master's in education from the Ohio State University and teaching for at least 3 years in a high-need school in Columbus. Since I've been at Mercer, I learned that I wanted to be involved in high-need education. And so after my 3 years, I'll either stay in Columbus and teach there because I love it so much, or maybe move back closer to home and teach there too. But ultimately I want to stay teaching in high need areas and become a volleyball coach.
The specific field I want to specialize in for economics is development economics, and so that's mostly dealing with third world countries, so it's paramount in that situation to have a good understanding of international environments, and that's really where you can get connections to, is if you go overseas. Development economics is kind of a newer field of economics. So what they're doing right now is primarily research focused, so there are a lot of professors at like MIT and places like that trying to figure out how we can use organizations like non-governmental organizations and institutions like the World Bank and the IMF to, financially assist governments in developing countries, but also incentivize sustainable change and promote good institutions in those countries. And I think that's the most important thing. The summer after sophomore year, we went on a Mercer on Mission to India. So that's my exposure in the third world country, and I realized, it was scary, but it was exciting, and it really touched me in a way that I didn't expect it to. Seeing people, firsthand that truly needed help and a significant change, and I think economics is the way that I want to help people specifically. The most important thing that shaped me is the way that some of the professors that I've had have actually kind of, really gotten to know me, really invested in me. They've done way more than just teach me in class. They've helped me figure out if I want to do service, They help me figure out where I can do the service I want to do. If I want to study abroad, they helped me figure out where it would be best to study abroad. I told them, I want to go to graduate school, and they said, look, these are the classes you need to take, and this is the things you need to learn to be able to be prepared for graduate school. And I think that's really shaped me into adult, trying to figure out what I need to do to get where I want to go. I know I ended up at the right place, and it's been hard sometimes, but I know that Mercer was right for me.
I've been looking at what goes on at Mercer University for a number of years. I knew what a wonderful president Mercer has. I knew the dynamic effect of Mercer in expanding its programs to serve the state of Georgia. I know that Mercer is preserving, as best as any institution I've ever known, the basic principles of the Christian faith that binds a lot of us together. And all these things put together made me feel that I would serve not only Mercer, but serve myself and the people whom I care for in my state and nation, and around the world, as a matter of fact, if I helped as a trustee at Mercer. I'm very grateful for this honor.
When I graduate, I'll be going to the University of Georgia's College of Veterinary Medicine in the fall, and I'm ecstatic. I'm so excited. I do think the biology department and all of my science courses, chemistry and biology alike, have been incredible, and I've learned so much in them. But really what's helped me is the fact that they were so challenging, because constantly sort of over and over going into the situation where you have to push yourself and you have to lean into that challenge to be successful has just sort of built up my confidence and really, really made me believe in myself. And I think that's the most valuable thing that's coming out of my Mercer education, is knowing like I can do whatever life is gonna throw at me, and whatever that's gonna be. If that's gonna be more academic challenges, if that's gonna be something entirely different, I'm ready. Mercer just provides you with these incredible opportunities, and you should take them if you can. I know sometimes different things get in the way of certain opportunities or whatever, but if you can do those Mercer on Mission trips, or if you can even just go to the LEAP days on Saturdays, it's really great. And what service learning brings to your education is really this understanding of how what you do can affect the people around you in your community. It just sort of helps you learn to meet people where they are, and to know that not everyone's going to be in the same place. And I don't think you can get that if you don't go out there and actually serve in a community that you're analyzing or thinking about in the classroom. I just think the Tower is a really, really great Mercer tradition, and just a special place on campus. And I always love going up there and just looking around and signing my name a lot. Over and over. And the other memory is probably just hanging out with my friends and sitting in the library, and of course like the Mercer on Mission trips, just every day at Mercer. And just enjoying being with people who are like-minded and who are going after the same things you are, and are just pushing through these classes and just enjoying it.
I started playing the violin when I was 6 years old, and I'll admit, for the first 8 years, I hated it. Thanks to my parents, they kept me going, But then I switched to viola in grade 9, in the beginning of high school, and it was just meant for me. And when I started, it just kind of grew from there, and I kind of just found my own as a musician, and that's what got me here, and now hopefully it'll take me even further. So my dream is to be a chamber musician and to have a quartet that I love working with and can travel around the world. That's the ultimate dream for me. It was amazing playing in this beautiful hall, and it it worked. So they saw something, and I got to be a part of this amazing, amazing institution. Both Mercer and the McDuffie Center kind of has made me grow as a person in a lot of ways. I was lucky enough that this program requires me to have a full-rounded education, which I think is really important, especially for music students. You know, being prepared in more than just being able to play an instrument, knowing how to promote yourself and, you know, understanding the financial parts behind it. I got to play with some of the most amazing faculty in the world. You know, I got to perform a duet with Robert McDuffie. I got to play in chamber groups with Richard Aaron and Julie Albers, and all of it's endless the amount of people I've played. So that's one of the most amazing things I'm going to take away. I'm going to miss walking down the quad with blaring speakers, you know, kind of like a soundtrack of my life, you know, I'm going to miss that. And I tell them about my amazing educational experience, always, because it's just endless, the amount of opportunities and moments that come across my life. So I'm always talking about that. So that's mainly what I talk about. You never experience the relationships you do in college. You know, you're never in the same place in such close quarters with, you know, people for 4 years consecutively. You know, it doesn't really happen many more times in your life. So I'm preparing myself. I mean, it's going to be amazing, and I'm excited to see what comes next. But I'm most certainly going to miss this place.
Today's students want more out of their college experience. They're searching for community as much as academic achievement. Today's students want an institution where they can build relationships and where they can contribute. At Mercer, that's what students will find, an environment of connection and involvement. Understanding how to work together is paramount in today's global economy. Through learning communities, team projects, and academic support groups, students learn how to solve problems by engaging each other. Combined with support from faculty and staff, these relationships inspire fresh ideas and empower students to take action. Both on campus, in the local community, and around the world, Mercer students are working together across departments, party lines, and borders to create real and beneficial change.
After this year at Mercer, I'll be taking a gap year to teach English abroad, hopefully. I'm looking at several different schools throughout Asia, and there was actually one in Germany and France as well that I was looking at. The reason being that I'm looking to do international affairs after this, specifically foreign service. My education here, combined with my liberal arts education, will help me to create a type of synergy between the two. And music is an international language, as you know, if you want to count that as another language. It will always open new paths and corridors through just by being an international language. It's more to me than just music. It's a way of life, and it will always be a part of me. 3 years ago in Taiwan, I taught in rural schools in Taiwan and used music as a way to reach the children because they're obviously very intrigued. It's a rural area, there isn't much music education to be found, and I could teach the children basic music skills, and I could show them what violin is, different instruments too, because as a musician we are fairly familiar with most instruments. Through my professors here at Mercer, I've met so many people at other institutions, and the world really is very small. You'd be surprised who's connected to who, and as even the music world itself is even smaller than Anything else? Last year we went to New York to perform at a nightclub. Well, it's kind of a avant-garde music type nightclub, and that was an experience, definitely. It was so much fun. Just great making music with all these people, and there were so many great artists there too themselves that came to see us. My freshman year and my sophomore year here, I went to Rome with to the Rome Chamber Music Festival with the center. They paid for everything. That was great. We went to the embassy, I think it might have been the American embassy in Italy, in Rome, and we ran around the Vatican. We saw the Trevi Fountain. It's the cultural exchange that I'm really going for. It's what brings me to life, I guess.
I was always interested in sciences. When I came into Mercer an undecided, well, I knew I wanted to go into a science major, but an undecided sciences. And through there, it was really just going through coursework and then as well as research experience. And research experience has been a big part. Through all the opportunities at Mercer, I've actually been accepted, and I'm going to go to Baltimore, Maryland for a PhD program. And the PhD program there is at Johns Hopkins Medical School, and it is called the BCMB program. It's Biochemistry, Cell and Molecular Biology. After that, look into a postdoctoral fellowship, and then from that postdoctoral fellowship, hopefully then get a faculty position and start my own lab. My Mercer education has been a big part. Through Mercer, through all the opportunities with coursework in both the biology and chemistry departments, as well as the CLA, other CLA requirements have well-rounded me and opened my eyes to a lot of things. From there, really what has been a really big role has been the research as well. So really getting hands-on experience, which is something that's unique to Mercer, because in a lot of schools, undergrads don't really have the opportunity to work directly with professors in labs. From my years here at Mercer, there are a lot of chances to see students that are a lot different from myself, really getting outside of just the Atlanta area and getting outside. So from Mercer, coming to Macon and seeing a lot of different people, and then being from the chances that Mercer gave, going even further. So going to my RU in Kentucky, going to other conferences as well, which is something that Mercer has provided me. Of course, there's always Bear Stock and Homecoming and the big events, but really it's just spending time with friends. I know my friends and we've had plenty of adventures just going around Macon, plenty of adventures on campus, as well as doing impromptu games and just having nights where we play cards, having nights where we just watch movies, as well as my friends have come to the point where they've started different clubs, and it's fun to see how far they've grown as well.
Throughout my over 50 years in public service, I have been a passionate advocate for human rights, service, and peace. My Christian faith is the foundation for that passion. My faith demands that I do whatever I can to promote peace and improve the human condition. Mercer students and alumni share this same mission. Mercer celebrates its Baptist heritage, a tradition that insists on an open search for truth and understanding, embraces religious freedom, and encourages service to others. These strong core values define an academic program that invites members of the university community to explore the fundamental moral issues of the present age from differing faith perspectives. Encourages students to grow spiritually by putting feet to their faith through service to others, and prepares students to live responsible and virtuous lives. Lives are transformed at Mercer, the lives of students and those they serve, whether locally or in Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and throughout the world. Through academic instruction, cultural immersion, and spiritual reflection, Mercer students are able to apply their passion in many different disciplines, and in turn, make the world a better place. I've said it before, and it bears repeating. We must choose to alleviate suffering and work together for peace. We can make a difference. And at Mercer University, you will be equipped to reach these goals.
I've been playing the organ since I was in middle school. I started the piano, I think in the 2nd grade. And so organ has been a part of my life all the way up through high school. And I don't really know that I thought about doing too much else besides a music major. So I came in as a freshman, and that was my plan. And here I am sitting as a senior going on for the next degree. In the fall of next year, I will be starting graduate school at Yale University. I will be starting a degree in organ performance at the graduate school there, and also conjunctly at the Institute of Sacred Music, which is a big part of the organ program at Yale. Mercer's education has prepared me in a variety of ways, both from an academic, musical, and personal level. I would say the academics have been very strong, both outside of the music building and inside of the music school. Especially, I had a very good education in theory and history, and so that was very, very good as I started to apply towards grad schools. Had a variety of great classes and in music performance and just lessons with two very, very fine professors here, Dr. Jack Michener, and before Dr. Michener, Dr. Robert Paris. The things that have helped me go the most probably were the faculty, especially faculty whom I had personal connections with. Many of them have been people that I've worked with in and outside of the classroom, in and outside of lessons, and have really been a part of my life as well. And I feel like that probably has played the largest role in that kind of growth here at Mercer. A place where I got a very, very fine academic education, along with great music instruction with some of the finest professors, and you know, a place just where I was able to learn a lot about myself and a lot about life, and really prepare me for the next step.
The roots of our Judeo-Christian heritage have planted all of these seeds all over the world. And God does not scatter seeds without purpose. And we have to learn to come together and live together and work together and develop a social order that is fair to each and everybody. Simply because if we don't do it, there's nobody else in the world that can.
Dr. Harris, and this was Dr. Harris, he told his board that we were running. And he said, when reminded that we were private, we didn't have to integrate, he said, it is the right thing to do. And that was the end of it.
5 trustees walked out of the meeting, and there was tension and hard feelings, but the great majority of the trustees, with Rufus Harris as president, voted in favor of the resolution.
My best friend at the time, a young man by the name of Larry Hicks, drove me to campus that day, and he said, it was funny, we drove up on campus and he said, well, here you are. He said, you want me to wait? I said, wait for what? You know, I mean, at that time, we didn't have cell phones and all that fancy stuff. I said, if anything happens, there's nothing that I can do to come and find you. He said, well, I don't think anything's going to happen. I said, I don't think so either. I came during the spring and everything was fine. And there wasn't a whole lot of publicity, none of this police escorts and none of that. He put me out in front of the student center and I just walked right into my first classes.
We've been conditioned to think that differences are bad, but 50 years from now we might be able to condition ourselves that differences are good. So it all depends on our decisions that we make today.
Right now, at Mercer, you have the opportunity to live and study and socialize together in what for many may be the most unself-consciously integrated environment you have ever encountered. It is an opportunity for you to develop the friendships of a lifetime. So the end of the story of the 50th anniversary is not really an ending, it's a beginning. Mercer students, you attend a much better, much stronger, more compassionate, and impactful school than the one I attended.
Good Lord in His wisdom created all of us. And if you remember the story of creation in the book of Genesis, do you remember that? God didn't speak of a black person, a yellow person, a red person. No. He created Adam and Eve, and we, all of us, his offspring, should be celebrating life together as brothers and sisters.
King, and by the way, he didn't just get a birthday celebration. That was a fight.
It had to be fought for.
That was a fight.
Yep.
It was not something that was agreed to. He was, in the language of my metaphor, disrupting Mayberry. He was disrupting it. And racism, what happens to people of color, as I said, is not the intention of racism. The intent of racism is to carve out whites-only spaces. What happens to people of color is secondary to that. To carve out whites-only spaces, to create systems of advantage that are based on race. The outcome of that is the distortion of everybody's humanity.
That's a very clear statement. That, y'all recording this? Okay, I mean that is a very profound and clear statement.
Thank you.
The Bryanites had a newsletter called Combustible Burn.
Combustible/burn. Mac paid me to type up and edit and send out the little newspaper.
It was dealing with social issues.
And a lot of that was about racial issues.
And about religion.
It was so radical, you're supposed to read it and burn it to keep everybody out of trouble.
I mean, there were names there. And someone had just been fired from their church for preaching integration, and so is helping.
It was an underground movement that he had with his students.
Oh, we had a little mini revolution going back in the early 50s at Mercer.